are going to look at MLA format. MLA stands for Modern Language Association. It's an agreed upon set of parameters which shape how we're going to format academic works. And it's what you will use at this school and is what you will use at many of your colleges. So getting to know how to format your papers this way is a useful skill. If I just open up Microsoft Word as a document and I start typing my paragraphs, this is what it may look like. Note that the margin here is 1 1/4 inches, which is really just the default that might be the case, but not what we want exactly. Second, it shows that our paragraphs are just starting on the left side. Again, not exactly what we want. It doesn't include information about the writer or the class that's due, any of those kinds of things. And let me show you a special feature here, is that when I hit return to go to my next paragraph, it automatically adds this little space in between paragraphs. So it's single space, and all of a sudden there's a bigger space in between paragraphs. Okay, let me show you why that is. Right here, this option, this little icon, is for line and paragraph spacing. If I click it, it tells me I'm in single space. But if I go here, because I want to see more options, oops, here we go. It shows me this little box right here tells me that after a paragraph, it's going to add an extra little piece of spacing. When we do our papers, we don't want any of that. So let me show you how to do it. What I recommend is that you create a document that we're going to use that has the MLA format built in. And every time you do a paper, you'll open it up and start working in it to save for that already has all the features set up. So you won't have to do this every time. So one time, we're going to start with a new document. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the word layout and make sure our margins are set to 1 inch on the top, bottom, left, and right. See right here, top 1, bottom 1, left 1, right 1. Those are the margins we want. The next thing I want to do, so I want to make sure I'm in the font that I want to work in, which is not Calibri or anything else. It is Times New Roman. We're going to use it every time. And I'm going to use 12-point font every time. And then every single line in MLA format is always going to be double spaced. So see, I've got it right there. But I'm going to go here to my more options so I can see this box. And I want to make sure that I've got 0 and 0 right there. And then we're going to say it's double spaced. Now we're ready to start typing. First thing we're going to do is have a header. The header includes the same 4 pieces of information for every single paper. It's going to have the name, your name, the author of the paper. When I hit return, it automatically gives me my double-spaced paragraphs or lines, which is what I want. So after your name, you're going to put the name of the instructor or your teacher. Then you're going to put the class that has given you this assignment. And then the next line is the date. Now there's something you need to notice, particularly about the date. The date doesn't come in a format we often use. You have to use this format. You start with typing in the date, meaning the day. Now today's the 22nd of January. So I'm going to start typing January. And you'll notice Microsoft Word can already tell what I want. It wants today's date in this format, with the day first, the month spelled out, and then the year. So we'll type that in. And now I have it set. Now notice there's no punctuation, no commas, no periods, nothing. Just like this, with the exception of the period with misses, because it's an abbreviation. Otherwise, That's it. We're going to hit return again, get our double space. Now we're ready for our title. You should have a title for each of your papers. The title should be simple, but it is not your thesis. It's just words. And so for our paper, which we're writing on the Electoral College, you might title it A Fresh Look at the Electoral College or something like that. When you do so, you'll give appropriate capitals, but you do not use punctuation like periods to end the sentence or anything like that. If you need a comma inside your title, that's okay. You don't italicize, you don't put quotes unless you're referring to someone else's work. Like if you were writing a paper on Moby Dick, you would italicize Moby Dick, but you get the idea. All right, so when I hit return, I'm still in center alignment. So I want to go back to the left margin. That's this one here. What you don't want to use is this one that lines up the left and the right. That's for like newspapers and things. For your work, align left. All right, we have one little special thing is that all of our paragraphs need to be indented on the first line 1/2 inch. In Microsoft Word, that's pretty easy. If you look up here on this ruler, you're going to see 2 triangles. One's pointing down and one's pointing up. Those triangles, see the top one says first line indent, and then the bottom one talks about the left indent. All right, so we want to deal with the first line, so I'm just going to click on it and move over to 1/2 inch, which is the line right there. Now it's set up so that my first line will be indented 1/2 inch, and my left margin will just return to where it's supposed to be. So I am now ready to start my paper. My margins are set to 1 inch on all sides. My line spacing is set to being double spaced with no extra spaces between paragraphs. Each paragraph will start with a 1/2 inch indentation, and subsequent lines will return to the left margin. Now I've got my first paragraph. I'm ready to start my second one. I just hit return. My second paragraph is formatted perfectly already to match the previous paragraph format. I can now save my MLA formatted document for future use. Except that there's one more thing we have to do before we can save it, and that is that we want a page number. Most of your reports are going to be more than one page. Teachers want page numbers. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to go right here to the word insert. And page numbers should go in what's called a header. And this is a special feature where a header operates in the margins, the margin at the top of the page. That's what a header is. I'm going to choose my format here, and it gives me my options. I'm going to type Phillips, but I don't really want it here, and just so that you can notice, it's in Calibri, so I'm going to change that to Times New Roman. It's 12, just like I want. And I want Phillips over here on the right side. Okay. Now once I've done that, what I want to do next is I want to go back to my insert option, and I want a page number. So we're going to put page number right here, and I want it on the right side. And there I have it. Now I've got a little triangle here that tells me again where my text is going to be. I'm just going to slide a little closer because I prefer it. And now what I have is my name and then the page number. Well, the reason I did the insert page number is so that when I have a second or third page, that number will automatically update. The Phillips will repeat, and then that number will change to the appropriate page number. So once I've entered my name and then this thing that will allow it to update the page number feature, I want to double click back in here. I've got my paper ready. Now what I want to do is I want to save as. I'm going to find a place where I can make sure I can find it. So I choose Documents and School Papers and 10th grade English. And I'm going to say this is MLA format. And now when I hit save, it's going to change that. Now every time I'm going to have all my formatting done. When I open this paper up, I'm ready to start typing right here, update my date, and my paper will be in the right format every time.